So let's go ahead and get going here. So on the first ones here, it says simplify these. So what we're doing on this is we are going to be using the menu 2, 3. Okay, so menu 2, 3, that's where it brings up the thing that says factor. Put it in parentheses like that. And then like on this first one, you're just going to type in 18 and push enter. Okay, so when you do that on 18, what does it give you? 1, 2, and 2 3s. Okay? Which in your calculator is going to say like this, 2 times 3 squared, and that means 2 3s. Okay, so what do we do from here? Circle the pairs. That's a 3 that comes out. So 3 on the outside, 2 on the inside. 3 squared to 2.
Haven't we learned this before?
Yes, this is the review for your test tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Yes. All right. So 56. How does 56 break down?
3 2 1 7.
Okay, it's 3 2s and 1 7. So there's a pair of 2s, so that's a 2 on the outside. And on the inside, the 2 and a 7 didn't have a pair, so they just get multiplied back together, and that's going to be 2 squared root of 14.
Wait, how do you do that in calculator again?
This right here, menu 2 3. If in your calculator type menu 2 3, it'll bring this up right here where it says factor. Okay, now on this one, if you just type this in, what's square root of 89 squared?
89.
It's 89 because remember what happens here is that the square and square root are inverse operations. They're opposites, so they basically undo each other. They cancel each other out, even though I don't like that phrase very much, but that's what happens. They're inverses, okay? So it just leaves 89. Okay, I'm not going to worry about that fourth one there. Okay, looking at this one right here. Now, this looks like a 30, 60, 90, but it's not. If it were, this down here would be 3 times 3 square roots of 3, which I don't know what that is, but it's not 7, okay? So, this is not a 30, 60, 90. So what do you think we're going to do here to find that missing side up there? Pythagorean Theorem, yes. Okay, now, which side is the C on this triangle? The missing one. So remember, when we're looking for the C, do we add or subtract? We add. So it's going to be 7 squared, add 3 squared, square rooted. Okay, and remember, that's just like the shortcut of the Pythagorean Theorem. And so square root of 7 squared plus 3 squared is what? Square root. Yeah, you didn't put the square root over it. So square root of 7 squared plus 3 squared. Say it again? 618, so it's 7.62.
Do we have to do it like that?
Yeah. I mean, your test is always multiple choice, so that'll help to eliminate, some things, but. Okay, second one, which side is the C? Okay, remember this little trick. The right angle, right angle mark is like an arrow always pointing towards the C, towards the hypotenuse. So on this one again, I'm looking for the C, so I'm going to be adding. So I'm going to go 6 squared plus 3 squared square rooted. Okay, so what is it, 6 point, say it.
It's 6.708.
Okay. So 6.71. All right, next one. Which one is the C on this one?
15.
The 15. So when we know the C, what do? We subtract. So it's going to be like this. 15 squared minus 13 squared. Everything is the same. It's just whether this is an add or subtract. When you know the C, you subtract.
48, right?
It's what?
7.48.
Or 49?
What is it?
It's 48.
Okay. Okay, fourth one, which one's the C?
16.
Is 16. So this time, again, we know the C, so we're subtracting. So 16 squared minus 8 squared square rooted.
13.86.
Okay,
Count off if we don't put like the yards and
it's multiple choice,
oh.
so it's not going to matter on that for this. Okay, number 19 now. Bless you. Number 19, there'll be a question like this. And on this question, it's not asking for the answer. It just wants to know if you know how to set it up. Okay? So it says that the diagonal is 10 inches. So that's this. And we're looking for the height. So Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So which one is the c? 10. So it'd be 10 here, and the 8 here, and the x here. Or the x and 8 could switch. But the 10 does have to be the c. Now again, on your test, the answers will look like that. It's not going to be like the, what the height actually is. It's how you find the height. All right. Number 22, you have this closet door. Okay. And it measures 48 by 86. Okay. And it's got this decorative brace put on it like this. So this is Pythagorean theorem. Now, where that x is it on the C or one of the legs? It's on the C, it's on the hypotenuse. So when you're looking for the hypotenuse, you add. So this is going to be 86 squared plus 48 squared, square rooted. Okay, is it 98.49 though?
98.4886.
Yeah, so 98.49. Okay, next one, the diagonal of a rectangular lot. So you got this rectangular lot. Okay, and it says that the diagonal in this lot is 60 feet. And one side measures 26.8. We're looking for this other side. So on this one, we know the C, so we're going to subtract. So it's going to be 60 squared minus 26.8 squared, square rooted. 53 point what? 0.68 or 69? 68? Okay. All right, next one. John walks 6 blocks east, and then he walks 8 blocks north to get to school. How many fewer blocks if he walked the diagonal distance? So let's find the diagonal real quick. So we're finding this. Is that the A, B, or C side?
C.
It's the C. We're looking for the C, so we're going to add. So 6 squared, add 8 squared, square rooted. What does that give you?
10.
Gives you exactly 10 blocks going that way. Okay, so the question, fewer. How many fewer blocks would it be if he walked this way versus walking this way? Good. So how many blocks did he walk by walking this way, the way I've traced out in red? 14. 6 plus 8. Okay, so he did walk 14 blocks. But if he went the other way, it would have just been 10 blocks. And so the question is how many fewer blocks would it be to go that way? And that's right. It would be 4 fewer blocks. Okay, so let's just talk about the Pythagorean theorem rules real quick. Just the shortcut thing I'm talking about. So, all right, if you know the C, okay, if you know the C, do you add or subtract? You subtract. you subtract. So as an example, it would look like this. 8 squared minus 6 squared. Okay, if you're looking for C, you're going to add. Okay, as an example, it look like this. 8 squared plus 6 squared. Okay, next page, we're going to get into our special right triangles. Okay, so this first one is a 45, 45, 90. So on a 45, 45, 90, what do I know about these two sides?
Sides are the same.
They're equal. So this is just going to be the same. 2 square root of 2. Okay, it's going to be equal to this one here. Now, good. On the 45, 45, 90, what do we do going from here to here?
You multiply.
You multiply by the square root of 2.
26.
Okay, be careful. It's going to be, yeah. So type that in exactly like that. Make sure that this is separated here. Make sure it's not like this. 2 square root of 2 over square root of 2. If you accidentally have this going over this, it's going to give you the wrong answer. You don't want that. And so it gives you exactly 4. Okay, number 25, this is the same thing. The two legs are the same. 4 square root of 10, 4 square root of 10. And this one is going to be 4 square root of 10 times square root of 2. Which is what?
17.89.
I think this 17.89. I don't remember for sure.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how I got 25.
Okay, so 17.89.
Yep.
Okay, next two are 30, 60, 90s. So, okay, so we have the hypotenuse, the short leg, and the long leg. So on this one, we're starting from the hypotenuse. So how do I get from the hypotenuse back to the short leg?
Divide by.
Yep, divided by 2. So 3 divided by 2 is 1.5. And now from the short leg to the long leg, we multiply by the square root of 3. So 1.5 times the square root of 3.
2.
Yeah, it's going to give you
2.6.
2.6. Yep. Okay, on this one we have the long leg, short leg, and hypotenuse. So from the long leg to the short leg, we divide by the square root of 3. So I'm going to have 11 square root of 3 divided by the square root of 3, which is what? What does that give you? 11. Yeah, it just gives you 11. The square root of 3 is cancel the 1. Square root of 3 divided by square root of 3 is 1. All right, and then from the short leg to the hypotenuse, it's just times 2. So 11 times 2 is 22. Okay, this is number 28. All right, it says this is an equilateral triangle, which means it's an equal angular triangle. So that means all the angles are 60 degrees, which makes this a 30, 60, 90. So we have the hypotenuse, short leg, and long leg. So the hypotenuse is 6. So how long is this going to be? It's 8 because you just divide by 2. And then for up here, we multiply by the square root of 3. So 8 times the square root of 3, 13.86. Okay, number 20. All right, we have the hypotenuse, short leg, and long leg. So going from the long leg to the short leg, what do we do? What do I do with this number to get this number? Divide by square root of 3. So 22 divided by square root of 3. What does it give you?
12.7.
12.7. And to get to the hypotenuse, we just multiply it by 2. 12.7 times 2. What does that give you?
25.4.
Okay, number 14 down here. All right, Rob wants to design the first section of a roller coaster track. All right, so it's like this. It rises at a 45-degree angle. It's 125 feet tall. And we want to know the length of the track. 45, 45, 90. So we know one of the legs. How do I find the hypotenuse? Times square root of 2. So 125 times the square root of 2. 0.78. All right, and then on this last one here, okay, so 30, 60, 90, hypotenuse, short leg, long leg, and it's asking for the length of AB, which is the short leg. Yep. So what does that give you? Gives you 6. Okay, on the very back. All right, find the square, or find the side of a square given the diagonal is 30. Okay, so we have this square. Say again? Yes. Yep. So when you have a square like this and you talk about the diagonal, it makes two 45, 45, 90s. And it says that the diagonal is 30. So how do we go from the diagonal back to the leg? Divide by the square root of 2 on this. So 30 divided by the square root of 2 is 21.21, whatever units it is. All right, next one. So it says we have this 30, 60, 90, and the hypotenuse is 30. So how am I going to find the short leg? Divide by 2, which is what? It's 15. Okay, so we just did 30 divided by 2. And now going down here, we're going to do 15 times the square root of 3. 25.98 will give us the long leg. Okay, and then on this one, we have this 45, 45, 90 where the sides are, or the legs are 12. And I'm going to be finding the perimeter. But before I do that, I need to find out how long the hypotenuse is. So what am I going to do to find the hypotenuse? Times square root of 2. So 12 square root of 2. 16.97. Now, this says find the perimeter. So how do I find perimeter? Add them all up. So the 12, 12, and 16.97. So 12 plus 12 plus 16. And that's going to be 40.97, whatever units that is. Okay. Now let's talk about our rules real quick. So 45, 45, 90 rules. All right, so if you have the leg, multiply that by the square root of 2 to give you the hypotenuse. Leg times the square root of 2 gives you the hypotenuse. And then just the reverse of that is if you take the hypotenuse, divide that by the square root of 2, it gives you the leg. Yep. And that's going to be the last thing here is that, remember, the two legs are congruent in a 45, 45, 90. One's not longer than the other. They're exactly the same on a 45, 45, 90. Two legs are congruent. Remember, congruent means equal, the same. Now, for our 30, 60, 90 rules. Okay, so if you take the short leg times 2, that's going to give you the hypotenuse. If you take the short leg times the square root of 3, that's going to give you the long leg. Okay, if you do the hypotenuse divided by 2, that gives you the short leg. And then if you take the long leg divided by the square root of 3, that's going to give you the short leg.